Welcome to Minez History in Color. The date is October 22nd, 2016. After the first group of recruits to make it out of the UTC's 234th Regiment of Whitehaven simultaneously leave the clan, a strong anti-UTC group begins to form underground. Over the course of the next 2 weeks, half of the UTC's 111th Regiment of Frostbane would defect. These members who had defected had been taken in the UTC from the ruins of WBC and Operation Whiteout. After a fairly successful Spooky Fest campaign, the UTC organizes a ceremony to say fuck you to the admins and burn the useless pumpkins. On November 6, 2016, the UTC held the ceremony. Nearly an hour into the celebration, the anti-UTC group struck, in the heart of the ceremony. Since the majority of the UTC's Directory members were wearing ceremonial leather armor, they were both killed instantly. Shortly thereafter, Cyclone and Gun, who had been holding the spoils of war, attempted to retreat with their lives. However, unfortunately, at this point in time, Cyclone was still fairly bad at kiting and quick dropped after being knocked off the southern wall in Aspermont. After the dust settled, the anti-UTC coalition had obtained 4 of the UTC's 7 pumpkins from the Spooky Fest campaign. The remaining pumpkins recovered by Gunn were burned at Helltree. This anti-UTC group, after being made public, declared their intentions and their name to be Apothos Renegades, or AR for short. Within AR, Sycept, a member who had left with the aforementioned 234th Recruit Group, had expressed interest in rejoining the UTC and had been turned into a spy for the UTC. Sycept, under the direction of Irish Kaiser, was able to get Pittacus to log in her alt, where Irish Kaiser and Cyclone killed both of them. Notably, Cyclone was supposed to target Sycept and not Pittacus, but Cyclone killed Pittacus and then Irish quick dropped to a leather with a diamond sword. And that was somehow Cyclone's fault. Thanks, Irish. The UTC was able to recover 1 of the 4 lost pumpkins by killing that alt. Later that same day, Shrugger received 1 of the pumpkins and promptly returned it to the UTC. On the 10th of November, Irish Kaiser gave the following speech.
Well, Joe, here we are. 4 days ago, 6 November 2016, a date which will live in infamy. Unknown trading company was attacked by elements of premium gangs. The UTC did not target these premiums or attempt to sabotage them. In fact, trusted them. They broke that promise. Regret to inform, many UTC company members were killed during that attack. But I am confident that the UTC and its righteous might will win through to absolute victory. As proof of this, we already have captured 2 of our pumpkins back from the enemy, killing their alts in any town, or as most of you would call it, Pallister. When Professor Pitt died, I relished when she said, "fuck," out loud. Hearing her say that after we killed her alt gave me more relief than 1,000 dead premiums. Now we come here to honor the dead and those who perished by those damn dirty bastards. So, this is where Weaver, Gath, and Irish Kaiser died. There's them here.
Both of them?
It's the other one. Yes. That was for you guys. Let it be known that the UTC won't do shit lying down.
UTC members, now confident in their leaders, began to push even harder on Sycept for more information. Sycept eventually relented and gave up one of AR's alt accounts that was filled with duped gold armor. This armor was then stored in a secret alt account by Irish Kaiser. Around this time, Alice the Killer, aka Alice, was able to insert herself as Greg1188 within AR. Alice spent the majority of the war gaining intelligence for the UTC and proved pivotal in the UTC's future operations. After being in AR for a few days, Alice learned that AR member Russian Cows was attempting 5K at flooded tunnels. This information was relayed to Cyclone, who, for lack of a better term, was the UTC's hitman during the war. Cyclone, after failing to find Russian Cows in flooded tunnels, messaged Omega Pirate Roy from another account. Since Roy and Cyclone had been on decent terms, Roy thought nothing of telling Cyclone that Russian Cows had lagged out. Shortly thereafter, Cyclone logged in on Russian Cows, who was 70% of the way through his 5Ks, and killed him. Russian Cows also had his alt account online as he was resupplying. The UTC was able to take all of Russian Cow's infinity bows, which totaled to 13 from the alt, and sell them on trade runs over the coming months. On November 20th, 2016, Sycept, who had been spying for the UTC, got bored and changed sides. Again. In response, Cyclone, who had access to Sycept's alt Plasma Knight 31, routinely began logging in to the alt and stealing its inventory. The war at this point was silent for 2 weeks until AR began to attack Dawn Brigade, aka DB. DB members Talif and LGT Reaper were attacked by 2 members of AR. Somehow Dawn Brigade managed to win this fight. It's not stated the gear of either side, but it's assumed that Dawn Brigade heavily outgeared AR. Pittacus was able to use this moment to direct the attention with AR towards Dawn Brigade, and the following weekend on December 4th, 2016, Pittacus took a 1v5 against Dawn Brigade just before the start of Dawn Brigade's heal run. Pittacus managed to win the 1v5 and ruin Dawn Brigade's heal run for that weekend. Dawn Brigade also claims kills from a recruit and friend at El Hassa, except the recruit that they claim kills from played no pivotal role in Dawn Brigade and was also blacklisted. To keep consistency throughout my series here, the kills from the recruit will be counted, but the recruit's friend's kills will not, as the recruit's friend was not a member of Dawn Brigade. The war at this point for the UTC had been silent up until December 8th, 2016. On December 8th, 2016, the UTC's 234th Regiment of Whitehaven hosted a Hassa raid where they ran into AR. The 234th Regiment was able to kill all 3 hostiles and leave the area with no casualties. Some 3 days later, the UTC and Dawn Brigade hosted a war games. These clans were to fight one another with the goal of killing the enemy's VIP. After Pittacus heard about this, she and AR abandoned SS and headed into the Midlands to disrupt the war games. Because Alice had been well aware of Pittacus's movements, the UTC and Dawn Brigade were able to coordinate themselves in quite literally 30v3 AR. It was a fucking 30v3. The next and last notable in-game event was Remy's betrayal on the UTC on December 30th, 2016. After being paid off by AR, Remy leaked a 234th training event. Unfortunately for AR, the only people who attended the event was Cyclone and a single recruit. AR hopped the UTC with 5 to 7 people and immediately killed the recruit. Cyclone, who at this point in the war had become quite competent in kiting, was able to outrun AR and log out. Notably, at this time during Minez, sounds like somebody's nearby messages did not work and there was no login, so to say the exact number of enemies is unknown. Despite being hot, the UTC's morale actually slightly increased after this event due to Cyclone's seat and the fact that the spy was routed so easily. After this point, though, the war went from being a Minez war to being a doxing fest. People in AR doxed Cyclone and tried but failed to dox Irish, while the UTC doxed Pittacus. The second half of the war was also opposed by a majority of the UTC's leadership, except Irish Kaiser and Alice, while Dawn Brigade declared the war over on December 28, 2016. According to Meifot, the reason Dawn Brigade left the war was because Irish was going after a 14-year-old girl in Dawn Brigade. The UTC had defended Irish's actions, saying that it was normal within Irish's culture, which, to be fair, it is normal in Irish's culture. Now, further progressing, I'm absolutely fucking tired, and I've been up for way too damn long, so this is just going to get thrown into the video without much background or anything else, really, because the other information Meifot gave me was wrong, because Meifot's an old man and doesn't remember the exact time period. After the war ended, Cyclone was poised to become a director member and was made chief of staff of the UTC's standing army. Alice was also promoted to be the head of intelligence for the UTC's standing army. Nothing very notable happened outside of the doxing, other than the fact that most of AR either quit or was absorbed by Corsair. While in Dawn Brigade after the war ended, internal disputes and struggles ultimately led for the rise of a new group of leaders, such as Solar and Connor 564, while other older leaders either stepped back or were forced out of the clan. The Alt War was the first of many UTC versus UTC wars throughout 2016 to 2018. Fun fact. The alt account with the golden armor was... Fun fact, after the war, Schrager was going to be ousted from Dawn Brigade for refusing to apologize to Pittacus after calling her a whore, so he left and joined the UTC.